to the Shara Made Podcast. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a big hello if this is the very first episode that you're joining me. I've got a couple of FOs and a whip and a few other things to talk about, and I'm going to dive straight in with some FOs. So, some of you might already know this, that I'm taking part in the Grocery Girls Sock Bash this year. I'm sure a lot of you already watched the Grocery Girls podcast. It's very funny, lots of fun. I love Jodie and Tracy. And for a few years now, they've been running a year-long knit-along where each month you knit a pair of socks, and they have a theme every month, but you don't necessarily have to knit your socks according to the theme. You just have to knit a pair of socks within that calendar month, so starting and finishing your socks within the month, and post a picture in their Ravelry group of your finished socks. And so far each month I have actually made a pair of socks within each calendar month that fit into the knit-along. The knit-along's called the Sock Bash, and these are my May socks, and I definitely would not have started these, I don't think, by the time I saw you last time, I don't think, because I knit these in the last 3 days of May, because I suddenly realised in the last 3 days of May, oh my god, I don't have a pair of May socks for the Sock Bash. Oh my god. So I quickly grabbed some out, and I was actually away from home. Well, I was about to leave to be away from home for the next few days. So I quickly grabbed some sock yarn and madly knit a pair of socks while I was away. And literally every spare second that my hands weren't doing something else, I was knitting. So I had these in my little handbag every second, so if I was on the tram for 10 minutes, I'd just pull it out and quickly knit a few rounds and then get off, and as I was walking to the next thing, I was knitting a few rounds. And one of the things I was doing while I was away was seeing a friend's art exhibition, and we were at the opening night, and I was walking around the gallery knitting socks. So yeah, so this is my pair of finished socks. Just a pair of very plain vanilla socks with a single rib cuff. I knit them cuff down with my short row heel and just a regular toe. And I've used Ren and Ollie, I believe. This is called Pop Rocks, the main colour, and might be called Tide Pool. I'm not 100% sure. Pond. It's called Pond. This colour, this grey blue colour, is called Pond. So that is my May socks for the Grocery Girls Sock Bash. I'm very pleased to get those done, even if I did have to knit them in a mad rush. But because I was knitting them in public a lot, I did get a lot of comments and struck up a lot of conversations, not all nice conversations, with lots of curious strangers, which was really lovely, and lots of people telling me nice stories about their mothers and grandmothers knitting, and lovely memories they had of that. So that was really nice, actually. So my last minute dash to knit some socks stirred a lot of nice memories in people. And I've got an FO to show you that I'm wearing, obviously. So you might recognise this because it's everywhere, because everyone, it seems like, is knitting one of these. So this is the Soldotna crop. Mine is a slightly modified version because the original has little short sleeves. It ends there with a little short cuff in the original pattern, and I've also lengthened the body of mine and tapered it in on this one. I'll stand up and show you what I mean. So my one is slightly longer, but not too much longer, and I've tapered it in a little on the sides. So the other one, the original, is quite boxy and it has no shaping, it just goes straight down. And as you can see, I've also got 3/4 length sleeves and made it a smidgen longer and tapered the sides. So this didn't take very long. I think it took maybe 8 days from cast on to cast off, which was pretty good. And I think you probably remember I've already knitted a Sol.No crop. And I loved that one, my original one, and obviously because I've knitted another one. But I wanted this one to be a smidgen longer because the other one is just a tiny bit short. Even though I did knit it considerably longer than the pattern states. So I thought I'll lengthen this one, and I measured my original one, and I think it's 10 inches from the underarm to the cast off on the waist. So I thought I'll do this one 12.5 inches, and I did. And it's actually shorter. When I've got it on, it's actually shorter than the original one. I don't know how that works. I don't know if maybe somehow the yoke in this one is shorter because of different gauge, or I don't know how it's worked, or if the tapering of the sides, the shaping of the sides has made it sit shorter because it sits differently on my bust. I'm not sure, but I've added 2.5 inches in length to the body, and it sits considerably higher up on my waist. So that was frustrating. I've added about 3 more inches on the sleeves, and they're definitely 3 more inches long than the original, but something went different on the body. So I've still got quite a bit of this colour left, so I'm actually considering unravelling the cast off and adding several more inches in the ribbing now that I know how it actually sits on me. It's actually a nice length presently when I wear it with dresses and skirts, but not when I wear it with jeans. I find myself constantly tugging on it to bring it back down, and that's not practical. If you constantly feel like you've got to readjust your clothes, then that's not right. So I might unravel the cast off, not the ribbing, and just add a couple of more, maybe 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches to the ribbing. I'm not bothered if it's got extra long ribbing, that's whatever, I don't care. It's black and you can't really see a lot of the detail anyway, so it won't really matter. But yeah, I've been wearing it anyway, even if it is a bit of a crop top, so yeah, no big deal. I absolutely love it. The yarns that I've used, the black, if you can see the detail, it's actually got a little speckle to it. Black is a Bendigo yarn, Bendigo Woolen Mills yarn. Why can't I think what it is called? I want to say Stella, but it's not. It was a special release yarn, and it's got wool and like a 1 ply of like bamboo in it, and that's the speckled part. What is it called? It had like a circus theme to it. Someone will remember that. And this one's called, I think, Magician's Hat or something, the colourway. It's probably called something completely different, and my brain's gone crazy. But I had a 200-gram ball of that just hanging around leftover from another project, and this grey here is Great Ocean Road Woolen Mills, and it's an alpaca merino blend that I had hanging around, and I had purchased this for a different project and never made it, and so it was just sitting in stash doing nothing, and it's really beautiful, so I thought I'd better use that. This beautiful green here is a Ren and Ollie DK might have been called Toxic Waste or something crazy like that. Really cool. I absolutely love that little pop of green in there. The cream is just the plain cream Bendigo Luxury Woolen Mills that was just, I I think everyone in Australia has some of that in their stash, and I had a ball of it hanging around in my stash, and I think that's all. So it was actually all stash yarn. I didn't buy anything new for it. It had all just been hanging around in my stash for several years, and I wanted to use it, so I did. And I've used up almost all of that black, and I'll probably use the rest of it by adding the next few inches to the ribbing. I used every single skerrick of this grey, and I had two 100 gram skeins. I didn't use a whole lot of that cream, and I barely used any of the green. So I could still easily make a hat for myself out of that green, and I think I probably will because I really like it. It's really cool. So I've been wearing this around, absolutely love it. I've got a green skirt that it looks really amazing with, so yeah, really, really love it. But I'll show you my other sold out a crop, because I think I was just about finished this one in my last episode, and I did get it finished that afternoon like I hoped I would, and I wore it out that night even though I hadn't blocked it, didn't care, and it looked amazing, and I got heaps of compliments, and even strangers were coming up to me that night because I think I mentioned I was off to an event and I desperately wanted to wear this, so I knit like a crazy woman to finish the last sleeve, and I wore it out, and even strangers were coming up saying, "Excuse me, where did you get that sweater?" I'm like, "I made it." So I've been wearing this like crazy as well, and loving every second of it. Now this one is a lot thicker and heavier than this one, which might account for why this one ended up being so much shorter. I've got a feeling this yoke is a bit shallower than this one. So you can see this one is quite a bit wider in the body, because there's no shaping in this one, and that there does look like a mistake, but it was just a blip in the yarn that just happened to be almost exactly the same colour as this yarn, so it looks like I've made a mistake, but oh, and it just happened to be front and centre naturally. And there's one of those here as well, where there just happens to be a blip in this green yarn that happens to be almost the exact same colour as this grey yarn, and naturally it happened front and centre as well, so great. Anyway, that's life. So yeah, this is my other sold up bar. And these yarns here were also all 100% stash, and some of them were deep stash, like, yeah, crazy, like verging on vintage stuff I possibly had since I was a teenager. So yeah, yeah, really, really amazing. I love it so much, and I love it so much. Brace yourselves. I'm eating another one. So yeah, I genuinely love it that much. I love the pattern, which is beautifully written. It's really clear, really easy. I love that you can stash dive with it, and now that I'm really familiar with it and how much yarn you need for each section, and that you can really sort of get away with, well, I've knit until I used up every single bit of that, and now I'll just change to use the rest of that bit, kind of thing. It's a real stash buster as well, so yeah, you can use all sorts. This one wasn't so much stash diving, this was more of a dedicated yarn buying project, but doesn't matter. You gotta treat yourself sometimes. So this is a little bit different, and they're all very different to each other, so it's not like I've made three that are all going to be identical. But yeah, this is my third one. And sorry if you can hear the dogs going nuts right now. A leaf probably blew past the window or something. Oh my god, shush guys, shush. Sorry. So I'm one row away from separating the sleeves and onto the body at this stage. I love the way these colours have come together. Really beautiful. So you can see the pattern on the body just about to take shape. And I'll put sleeves on this one as well. And I think I'll also taper the body in the same way that I did this, because I really like the way this one fits now. I love the boxiness of my original one as well, but I really like the way this one fits. And the shaping was really easy. It wasn't complicated or anything like that. I didn't have to calculate much. I just figured out how much I wanted to remove from the total width, and then sort of calculated backwards, if that makes sense, and then estimated how much space I would need to get rid of that many stitches. And it was actually a really easy calculation, so that was good. And I'll do the same thing on this one, I believe. And I will make it much longer. The weight of this yarn is very similar to the weight of this yarn, so I'll make it a similar length once I've added the length to this, and then I'll know that it should be the right length, hopefully. I don't know, I'm sure I'll end up with some other surprise. And I'll also do sleeves on this one, of course, because I like that, the 3/4 length sleeves. I like the way it looks, and it's a practical style for me as well. And I'll tell you about the yarns. So this colour here is called Sweet Sweet Manuka, and it's a Prosper yarn DK. What have we got here? I don't know how to pronounce it. So this is the label, and here is, I'm sure I've actually shown you these yarns in the last episode, but just a little update. That's this colour. And then I've got the green, which will be the body. This will end up being this part here. Is called Let's Be Frank. And that's also a Prosper yarn. And this colour here is called Peach Pistachio, one of my favourite yarn colours ever, and it's from Ren and Ollie. And then this colour here is the same as the cream in this one here, and it's a Polworth that I dyed many years ago and was just hanging around in my stash, and I've got so much of that left, that from the original Sol Dotman, that I thought I'd better use it. So this one's coming along beautifully, and I'm hoping to have that finished by next week, and that will be the third Sol Dotman, but also my third Bendigo sweater, ready for the Sheep and Wool show. And then I think that'll probably be enough new sweaters for Bendigo. What do you think? I'll just sort of show you here as well. I have done what do you call it? What's it called? What do you call it? I want to say Italian cast on, but I don't think that's what it's called. I can't think of the name now, so I'm going to put it here. It totally escapes me. Anyway, I've done the same neckline on every single one, because I really like the way it looks. It's really lovely and neat, and it sort of looks like it's rolled, but it isn't rolled. It's just a single piece, and I've done it on this one as well, and I just really like the way it looks. It's really lovely and neat. It gives you a beautiful edge. As you can see, I actually still haven't woven in all the ends on that one. Still wearing it though. And I've done the same neckline on this as well. It's beautiful and neat. I love it. What do you call that? Not a rolled edge. Anyway, drive me crazy, but I will think of it and put it along here. So that is my third Sol Dotman crop. If you've been considering it, I can highly recommend the pattern. It's excellent. Anyway, go for it. And now I've got another FO that's actually a design whip, and also my June socks for the Grocery Girls Sock Bash. So these are my latest sock design, my latest sock pattern design. And I don't know if you can see, I might just slip one of these off the sock blocker and show you on my hand. So you can see the cable up the front. Hang on a sec, those dogs are just getting crazy. I'm gonna go see what they're barking about. So you can see the cable runs up the instep there, and there's a little bit of broken rib along the sides, and the usual, this rib along the back of the leg, and a short row heel, which you can probably see a little bit better on the sock blocker. So yeah, the usual short row heel as well, because this one is made toe up as well. Just like my last few pairs of socks, I'm really enjoying that construction. I think I find it a little bit faster than a cuff down sock, even though I typically do knit cuff down socks. I find toe up socks work a little bit quicker. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some reason for it, and maybe it's just imaginary, I'm not sure. But I'm really enjoying this design. And the yarn that I've used is this beautiful one from my local yarn store. And I think I may have shown you this in the last episode as well. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's Australian and New Zealand, a combination of extra fine merino, and it's also 20% silk and 10% cashmere. And it's a 6 ply. I haven't got my glasses on, that almost looks like a 5. 6 ply, so it's a little bit thicker, but these socks would normally be knit using a 4 ply, but I did a little bit of an experiment with the 6 ply. But these would normally be just knit with regular sock yarn, so regular fingering weight or 4 ply sock yarn. They come in 3 different sizes, like my last few pairs of socks. So you've got the small, medium and the large, and then of course an adjustable foot length, but the sizes are the width of the sock, so you've got different widths, foot widths as well as the adjustable length, so that makes it helpful for getting the perfect fit, but also with the rib incorporated in various locations on the sock as well. That helps with a comfortable fit too. And I really enjoyed knitting these socks. It was really fun, and it was quite a quick knit, which was good because I also started these in the last 3 days of the month for the sock bash. So nothing like leaving it to the last minute. And something that I used while knitting these socks, which was really, really helpful, was this little kit, because there's cables all through this sock, and the cables occur every second row, so quite a lot. I used this little kit, and some of you may have seen this before, but it has a necklace, which you can wear around your neck, like so. It's a little bit off screen because I'm short, but you can adjust the length of the necklace, but it's actually magnetized. And it comes with a set of various cable needles of different sizes and shapes. Cable needles are different shapes as well. And they magnetize to the necklace. So as you're knitting your sock, you use your cable needle, do your thing. Once you're finished, you just chuck it back on your necklace. Oh, I don't know if I can stand up and show you. You just knit. Oh, there's my cable needle, do your thing, put your cable needle back on. So instead of just holding it in your mouth like I normally would, or jamming it in your jumper, or poking in your hair, or putting it on your bench, or whatever you normally do, you can just pop it on there, and then it's always with you wherever you are. Fantastic at knit night as well, and if you're anything like me, you're always misplacing things at knit night because you're chit-chatting away and things like that, and often the lighting's not very good at knit night. I don't know why, but anyway. So you've got your various other, I don't know how well that's going to show up, so there's the curved one and a straight one as well in there, and they're also differing thicknesses, but this just happened to be the perfect one, perfect size for socks, so that was great. And something else that's in this little kit as well is a big bunch of stitch markers that also magnetise to your necklace. So as you're swapping your stitch markers around or moving them, if you've got a project that requires you to shift stitch markers frequently, this comes in really handy, or just in that row where you're putting in your stitch markers or removing your stitch markers, this comes in really handy. So I've been using this quite a lot. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't know whether I would get a lot of use out of it, but I used it non-stop in those socks, and I've been using it in other projects and really found it so useful. Really enjoyed it, particularly if you're knitting on the go or you knit in various places. Really fantastic. And that is a Knit Pro brand little kit, and I'm sure if you just googled that you'd be able to find it. I got mine from my local yarn store, but I'm sure if you googled it you'd be able to find it. I really enjoyed that. That was so handy. If you do a lot of cables, you might find that handy as well. So these socks will hopefully be released before the Australian Sheep and Wool Show at Bendigo, more affectionately known as just as Bendigo, or the Bendigo Sheep Show, which is coming up in a few weeks' time, and they are my commemorative Bendigo pattern socks. So if you are going to Bendigo and you wanted to get a souvenir skein of yarn and wanted to make something with that souvenir skein of yarn, maybe it's these Bendigo 2019 socks. And that pattern will be coming out shortly. So I hope you enjoy that. I really enjoyed knitting it, and I can't wait to cast on another pair, and hopefully I cast them on before the last 3 days of July for the sock bash. And the other thing I have been doing this month is I've been working on a massive shawl, which is also a new design of mine. And you might remember, I think it was last year, I made a shawl that incorporated some brioche stitches as well as some other stitches, and along the edge it had a big mosaic border with bees on it. I didn't love that design. I loved some elements of that design, but it wasn't working as a whole. So I knew I wanted to do the elements of that pattern that I loved special justice, so I kept working on it, and recently I thought I'd come up with the perfect design for it. So I started that, and I've been working on it like crazy and just knitting non-stop on it and giving it all my time. And then I got really close to finishing it and realised that while it was great, the design was excellent, and it was going to work, some parts of it needed to be changed, and I'd also used the wrong colours. Before I started knitting, I really thought they were the right colours, and when I was halfway through it, I still thought that they were the right colours, and then I started to really doubt the colours. But I kept going because I'd already spent so much time on it. Then I got to the part that I was really worried about, which was the mosaic border, where it's really important that you have high contrast, and it was very apparent that the colours were all wrong, and I'd wasted like 3 weeks of knitting on this thing that just wasn't going to work. But also I was really playing yarn chicken to get it finished, and I'll be able to do it, but that's not something you want people making a pattern to be doing, is playing yarn chicken, because inevitably people's tensions will vary even if they check it, but most people don't, and people will be running out of yarn before they get to the end of the shawl, and that would be very frustrating, and I don't want to be writing a pattern that causes frustration for people. I want something that's going to be fun and enjoyable and almost guarantee success. So I wanted to shrink certain elements to guarantee no yarn chicken, but which is quite easy to do and it'd still be a great size and things like that. So that really wasn't an issue, but I need to make another one that is in better colours. But I took some photos of it, unfinished, unblocked, not cast off, no finishing touches added or anything like that, but I wanted to tell you about it anyway, and show you my unsuccessful whip. Anyway, so I'll put some pictures in here. So that's what it looks like. You can't get a really good idea of the finished product, but I'm hoping to find some really high contrast yarns in the colours that I've got in my mind soon, so that I can do that. But in the meantime, I've got some other ideas that should work with that, with some of those ideas as well. So we'll see how we go. All is not lost for that little bee. And you can still hear Georgie barking. So you might notice I'm in a slightly different location. So for the last week and a bit, I've been house sitting and dog minding for my sister, and listening to them bark. I hope that's not too loud. I'll just be so annoyed if I've spent all this time recording the podcast and all you can hear is dogs yapping in the background. Anyway, so I've been dog sitting for my sister while her and her husband are away. It's been a really nice time here with the dogs, and they really actually haven't barked very much at all, except for right now. I literally hit record and they started barking. So just let me see if I can get them to be a little more quiet. So now I'm sure all you're going to be able to hear is them walking around. So I'm probably not going to be able to talk over that. I might wait and see if they sit down. Okay. So that's been interesting, and I've gotten a lot of knitting done actually, because I've been had no distractions. So that's been good. And I'm looking forward to Bendigo coming up in a few weeks. I doubt I'll get to film another podcast before then. So I've got quite a few meetups planned with friends while I'm in Bendigo. So that's great. So they're friends that I only get to see in Bendigo. So usually once a year. Some friends I haven't seen for quite a few years, and some friends I haven't met at all because we only know each other online. So that'll be really great. To see them. And I've got a few other activities planned in Bendigo while I'm there too. So that'll be fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to the show, of course. And hopefully the weather will be good to us all. And the feature breed this year is Polworth, and that's one of my favourite breeds. So I'm really excited about that. And I was chatting to some other Yarny friends about that yesterday, and they're also really excited about the Polworth being the feature breed. So that should be great. I think that's all I've got to say so far about Bendigo. I'll have my 3 Saldotna crops ready in time. I was a bit worried at one stage there that I was only going to have one Bendigo sweater, but now I'm feeling a bit more confident, and I may even get something else new to wear in time, maybe, I don't know. That should be good. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone. And I've got some giveaway prizes to announce as well. I can't remember if I did a May one or not, but I probably didn't, because I think the last podcast I filmed was right at the start of May. So if you are seeing your name here right now, congratulations, you are the May winner of the pattern prize for the year-long stash busting craft along in my Ravelry group. So contact me via Ravelry and let me know which individual pattern on Ravelry you would like. It doesn't have to be my pattern, any of my patterns. It can be any pattern online on Ravelry that you like, and I'll happily send that to you. And the June winner, if you can see your name here now, congratulations, you are the June winner of the pattern prize for the year-long stash busting craft along. Congratulations. And thank you to everyone who's participating in that. There's so many amazing FOs in that thread at the moment, and it's really filling up. Like there's hundreds of FOs in there. It's amazing. So thank you so much. And what else have I got? I think that's everything now. Just trying to think. I've got things laid out in front of me so that I wouldn't forget anything, and I'm hoping I haven't forgotten anything. I think that's everything now. I don't know. And you may see some craziness after Bendigo when there is the strong possibility of me knitting a 4th Saldotna crop, but this time not for me, for someone else. So that may or may not happen. I'll have to see how I feel. But we'll see how that goes. And my sincere apologies if this podcast episode has been interrupted by the dogs yapping and their toenails clip-clopping on the floor in the background. I'm really sorry. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye.